This is Cadillac Unscripted on 107.9 CDY. It's sponsored every week at this time at 8:30 a.m. on a Saturday morning by Independent Bank. And we talk to people who are making a difference in the community, and I think this might be our third or fourth visit with Marla Courtney.
Okay.
So
welcome, Marla.
Marla,
hello there.
We love having people who are making a difference, and Marla gets up with ideas about how she can make a difference every day. So, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
Doing great. All right, Jammin'. Let's get an update on Jammin' Bread. It's been a little dormant, a little quiet lately.
So we've still been running, but at the same time, we're like looking at what our other options are. So in the summertime, we actually moved down to the pavilion. So the kids support the Upbeat Cadillac music series. And that's a great opportunity for the kids to learn how to do stage setup. They can meet the musicians and they can bring their instruments down and play in the park if they want to. But most of the time, the kids bring chessboards and just enjoy summer. But the most important thing is getting them exposed to music, and what better way than live music. So
how important do you think it is in the formative years of a child to have music?
Oh, extremely important.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that is so important about music is we relate to it. Everybody relates to music. It doesn't matter what it is. You always have a song that inspires you or a song that you remember from your childhood. Music is powerful. It triggers memories, but one of the other things too is that it also gets out emotions. There's a reason why we have the blues. The blues was invented because somebody was really sad. And you listen to the blues when you're sad, and it's the same thing with kids. But we need to teach kids to get that outlet through music. So, I grew up with punk music, so we danced hard. It was the 80s. That's what we did.
You'd never know.
Not by looking at the way Marla does her hair. No, not at all.
Well, and ironically, I created a program through Michigan State University called Mindful Moshing. And it's literally teaching the kids exactly how to do that, to relate to the music. It's done in a safe way. I don't want anyone to think, but it's actually teaching kids that is our outlet. And that's the same thing with the instrument. When you give a kid an instrument, you see that connection with them, you know what path that they're going to go on because you see it. And it's from everything from putting their hands on an instrument to seeing a live performance and exposing them to different genres, because that's another thing too, is that get them exposed to as much music as you can.
And that Upbeat Cadillac series really does bring a variety of genres to Cadillac.
Yeah, and one of the things that people always say is jazz in the park. It's not jazz in the park.
Not.
And it's great.
Was it ever jazz in the park? Maybe at one point it was, but as long as I've been here, it's always been Upbeat Cadillac.
Yeah, it's a mix. I mean, and that's what's so great about like moving down to the pavilion is that the kids, I believe Rodney Whitaker is the very, very first performer. And Rodney is a bass player from Michigan State University, and he's amazing, and he plays with his family. So for it to be a free concert, July 3rd, we're actually having a little party in the market too, because Seth Bernard and Jordan Hamilton are playing for this concert series. It's free. So encourage families to come down, grab a picnic, and, let the kids come and, help set up and learn a little bit and learn to give back into the community. But this is the 30th year for the Upbeat Cadillac music series. Wow. 30 years. And Tim Scully has been, working so hard to bring this here, and it really is up to the community to help support it. So we've been lucky. Jam and Bread have helped them for the past couple of years, and we also help facilitate food. So that's the other thing too, is that we have some great sponsors that step up and, feed the band. So working together as a community, we can just say, hey, thanks. And June 19th, I believe there's going to be a special awards presentation too, because it is their 30th year. So we have a lot to be grateful for right in our backyard.
And this is it's a good time to talk about it, because I think over the years, Upbeat Cadillac has been under-advertised in the Cadillac area. I don't think a whole lot of people know about it.
Right.
They happen to be driving by. They drive by on Mitchell Street and they see a crowd of people in front of the pavilion and wonder what's going on there. Well, that's what's going on there, right?
Yeah,
and
it's great.
It's on Thursday nights?
It's on Thursday nights.
Okay.
And it goes all the way from June 19th to August 28th. And I can confirm August 28th is a very, very special performance, and it's something that Jam and Bread is so proud to sponsor, so everyone will get a little sneak peek of what actually has been happening. But we're also going to have a little party and an ice cream social and really celebrate music education, because that is really what this is all about. For us at Jam and Bread, we look at this as education. And that's what the opportunity is. And when you have these first class musicians come in and you see the kids, and it'll be great because if you come to the concert series, you'll see little kids holding their fists up and pretending to play the trumpet and drum solos with jazz. You see the kids like all over the place, and they get it. I think they get jazz more than adults do, actually, to be honest.
Marla, for our listeners that don't know you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you came to be in this position in your journey with music?
Oh, my goodness. So I actually started playing the viola when I was in fourth grade. And I played from fourth grade all the way through my senior year. And then, life happened and I didn't play for 30 years. Life happened again. And that viola was always there. It never went away. So I picked it up and started playing in the orchestra again and realized that, maybe it was time to do a career change. And then you look at how the arts have really been cut. You look at art in school and you look at music in school, and it was one of the things where I thought, Cadillac has a string program. I don't know if people even realize how fortunate Cadillac is to have a string program. Not only do we have a full-size orchestra, but we have a middle school and a high school orchestra as well, too, loaded with kids. And we have phenomenal teachers. And a lot of people I ask, they go, we have an orchestra? We do. Support your string programs because they are so important. Strings, we are one of, I think, 3 communities in northern Michigan, north of Grand Rapids, that have a string program. So again, dig in, support your strings because they are phenomenal. We've got some amazingly talented kids here, and better yet, the teachers. We have access to so many teachers here. And if we just have fun and bring everyone together.
And Katy, you and I have had this conversation before. How the artsy kids are the ones that fall through the cracks. Yes. Everybody supports the athletes,
right?
But the ones with the great talent for theater and music kind of fly under the radar, don't you think?
Yeah, and that's why Jam and Bread exists. We're there to inspire. And a lot of people think, we say free music lessons. Well, basic lessons. We're there to inspire. We want the kids to come in and to get their hands on the instruments and go from there. We have 6 kids in the orchestra right now. We have 2 kids in band, and a lot of these kids are in footlighters. So one of the things is we encourage the kids hey, why not get your feet wet? And we're also proud to be part of the art council. So we all work together, but our job is to inspire the kids so that they will move on to something else. And it's so important. And I cannot tell you what a joy it's been. And even if it's one kid that gets sparked, just one, it's worth it.
I will tell you personally that my daughter Megan, who will be in 8th grade coming up, has a violin in her hands and plays it because of Marla's influence.
Oh, wow.
And
that's
awesome. She never would have had that opportunity, and now she's in the orchestra, and it's a lot of fun because I come from a family of musicians. I've never played an instrument in my life. I play the radio really well, but
I like it.
I don't play any other instrument to my mom's chagrin. Now, you've met my mother, and my mother is a multi-instrumentalist. And you were just talking about, I was smiling because I'm thinking of my mom. So my mom gave up music for 20 years when I was born.
Okay.
And life happened to her. And now at 82, she's out there playing, and it is her lifeline.
Yes.
It is her, it's what keeps her sane. She has said, if I didn't have my music, I would go bat crazy. So,
it gives her a purpose,
It
Rich.
gives her a purpose, and it gives these kids purpose.
Yes.
It sure does.
One of the things, too, is if you teach a kid how to relate to music, whether it's by listening to it, imagine what would happen if they start writing poetry and they start creating songs, or they pick up an instrument, or they just think, hey, I'm not alone. That's the power of music, and it couldn't go both ways, obviously. So, but it's one of those things. It's so powerful for me. I'm just grateful. I'm grateful every single day for that.
And you just don't know where the next Brian Wilson will come from. It could be right here in Cadillac. And, you know, we lost Brian this past week. So you just never know when that, and you don't have those opportunities unless you take them and they're offered. So that's a big deal.
And there are times when I get exhausted because it's a lot of work. We do a lot of volunteer work. And then there'll be just that spark. You see the spark go, and then that's enough.
I don't know how you wake up in the morning because do you lay awake at night thinking of things, coming up with ideas? I suspect you do.
The funny thing is I sleep really hard because my brain is working so hard all day long. So yes and no, but I wake up with ideas.
Very good.
I smile because she plays the viola, and I started playing the viola as a fourth grader with Mrs. Wella. And at Christmas time, my fourth grade year, I said to my because I was raised by teachers. And so my mother said, you know, do you want to buy Christmas gifts for your teachers? And I said, just Miss Wella. And because she was so special to me. And pennies were a little tight, so I borrowed my mother's best friend's viola. And Anne let me use that viola for years. Well, then when I got to high school, I went into private instruction. And a funny story, our orchestra director, I graduated with 500 people, so I went to a large high school in South Dakota. He was so temperamental. Mr. Falkowski got about 4 hours of sleep a night. He was a brilliant man. He was had played in the Chicago Symphony, raised in that, but he threw his tuner. And I tell you, you did not want to be on that man's list. You were going to show up. You were going to know what was going on, you know. Yep. And I was an athlete and things like that, but that symphony and orchestra experience was life-changing.
Yeah.
You know.
And last night, actually, we had our first symphony rehearsal here in Cadillac. And I have to just give a shout out to Alex Bowers, who is our middle school and high school orchestra teacher, because we have, I think, 9 violas and we have 4 students. One of them is her alumni and Jam and Brad, and then the other 3 are her students. And I just have to say, it was magical because we have this amazing community orchestra, and then you look out and you say, hey, it's working because these kids are here. And it just, the viola section is fierce, and I'm so excited about it.
Okay, that's a little unusual, Rich. So I got
time.
it, isn't it, Marla?
Oh yeah.
So when you say to somebody, yes, I play a stringed instrument, they think the bass because it's this big instrument and it just makes all these amazing noises. But of course, they go first to the violin, and then when they find out you play the viola, they go, oh.
Or they don't know what it is.
They don't know what it is.
They're like, isn't that the thing you play between your legs? Or it's smaller than a violin, right? I'm like, no, it's bigger, and we are in our own league, and that's the thing. The funny thing is when you meet a viola player, we're all alike, which is funny. Now that I'm older and teaching more, and it's like, oh, you play the viola, don't you? I'm like, yeah, because viola players, it's funny because we all did the same thing. I did the same thing in high school that they do, and we play with a different clef than everybody.
We do
in the orchestra. And we
march to our own drummer pentatonic.
So,
exactly.
And I was just thinking about that. So if you meet a band and they don't have their instruments with them, right? Can you usually pick out who plays what? You can probably find the drummer, right? He looks like the most aggressive one, or she. Yeah.
And you can see him counting. Yeah. It's funny because, like, as the viola, we're always doing like the rhythm or the underbelly. We're always called the engines. So, and percussion is kind of the same way. So violas are always like, doo, doo, doo. And then you can kind of see the percussionist doing the same thing in their head. And you're like, oh, hey, we're kind of in the same realm there. So yeah.
Is the viola the most expensive instrument among the stringed instruments?
No, the bass.
Which one is the bass?
The bass, because of the size.
Stand-up. Okay.
Probably bass, cello, viola, and then violin. But there's so many different types. Right. Strings are what get you. And that's one of the other things why Jam and Bread exists, is that we, will be able to kind of offset some of these costs for kids that don't. I know a set of strings, like just basic strings, they're still like $120 for a set. When you get into professional, they're really expensive. But yeah.
So go ahead.
Yeah. No, you, because
Well, I'm so grateful to kind of the folks that set, the ground, the foundation, for the string program. And
Yeah.
and over the years, I've received phone calls, kind of, privately. This student is from a family that might need some help. Can you help us figure out a way to,
Yep.
help pay for an instrument? Lilani Kittler, who plays in the Traverse
Yep.
City Symphony, is amazing. I've been in private instruction with Lilani. I apologize, Lilani. I'm terrible.
No,
She
Lilani's
always
great.
gets me
Yes.
where I need to be.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, there are these folks that are ride or die, for these. Mike, of course, Vilkins is one of them, and and then we've got the fierce Marla, who's like, I want to talk about the funding, because of course, when I say fierce, I'm like, she's fighting for funding right now. Can we talk about that?
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, funding can be tricky at times, but we are fortunate that we are actually a 501c3 nonprofit. So we actually got a gaming license. And the reason we got a gaming license is because bingo is fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like regular bingo, good old fashioned Daubers paper bingo. And it's actually a good fundraiser. So when we started looking into it, we did a couple trials in the fall, and they worked out well. So starting Monday, we are actually going to be doing bingo bi-monthly at Mi Mescal. And if you look at our site, you can get a complete list of dates. But the great thing is that 100% of that goes back into the community programs, like our programs for the community. So we do charge, it's a $5 door fee. The door fee helps cover the Ladies of the Moose, and they call for us, and they're wonderful. They have their own organization, and they do a lot of good in the community. So
They're
we help them out.
Those gals.
Oh yeah, and they know what they're talking about. Yeah, and so they're wonderful. So they come, they have a great time calling. They know what they're doing, and then they get something for their cause.
Good.
what separates a great bingo caller from just an average one?
Oh,
I know this is slightly off topic, but I'm kind of interested in this. I have not physically played bingo since I used to go to the Eagles Club in Alpena with my grandparents when I was underage, and I shouldn't have been there, but I was. They snuck me in. So, yeah.
Well, I have one answer. They're good listeners.
Okay.
and they're quick. So one of the things too, my bingo backstory is that my grandma loved to play bingo, and my grandma and her sister, this was back in I think 79 or 80, they literally jumped the Bay City drawbridge as it was coming up because they were late for bingo. My grandma drove around the barriers and drove. So bingo is in my blood. So it kind of
That's awesome.
it just made sense when I started thinking about this. But one of the things that makes bingo fun is it's your callers, and it's all about the environment that you're in as well too. And it also helps that margaritas don't hurt. So we're going to be in a Mexican restaurant, which is great, and it really helps support downtown. And the beautiful thing is it supports everybody in the end. So, but Janet from the Moose, she is an amazing caller, and she knows the rules because this is a gaming license. This isn't just, hey, we're going to do it. We literally hold a gaming license. We have to follow through by rules, and I have an amazing team. I don't have to worry about it. Janet's got it under control. And, that's also great for the Ladies of the Moose, too, because they have their own bingo, so we can all, kind of help each other out.
So, Rich, I need to talk to you about these dabbers because
Okay.
it's a big deal. They come in all these fun colors.
Right.
And they've got a disc. Some of them have a disco ball top
Yes.
to them. And
Yes, I
again,
remember that.
okay. And then, but there's blackout bingo, and there's a whole bunch of different ways. So typically the first game is your regular bingo, but then there's all these other formats that they do. So you do.
Oh,
I know that I remember the coverall. I remember that.
Okay, yeah.
Where you
That's the jackpot at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we play 10 games. So there's 10 rounds or 10 games. And then it just depends. There's a $10 package, which is just one card per game. There's a $25 package, and then there's a $50 package. So it just depends on how much you want to play. But you can literally, for $15, you can play bingo for 2 hours and give back. And that's the beautiful thing about it. So it's affordable, it's fun, and it's cash prizes. And we do, the special bingos. It's just like any bingo that you go to at a bingo hall. So imagine a bingo hall. It's
With
18 and up.
margaritas.
Yeah, it's definitely 18 and up.
It's such an Americana thing. you know,
Yes.
playing bingo. It's like playing broom ball, you know, in the winter, or it's fun, and there's not a lot of, like, when someone says to me, do you want to play euchre? I'm like, oh no, now I have to think.
Right.
With bingo, you're just having a good time.
It's fun.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. It literally is, you have a piece of paper, they call the number, you job it. And you know, you can win cash prizes, but the best part is you get out for the night.
Yes.
Like my grandma loved it. That was like their big thing. I mean,
Right.
she would put on the special lipstick for bingo.
Oh goodness,
What
she
color?
had.
Oh yeah. Oh, it was always like the salmon pink color. And yeah. And then she would get in her little Chrysler, and there they would go. Vroom, just apparently
Dab-
shooting over a bridge.
Dab
So-
on the oil of Olay, and off she went. Huh?
Exactly. Yeah. And you know what it is? And it would always be like her, my great Aunt Helen, sometimes Aunt Lizzie, and then whoever else I would pick up. Usually it was somebody that was irritated with their husband because they're like, we're going to bingo, get in the car. So it just all kind of made sense. So our bingo events are 18 and up, you know, because it is a gaming license. But the nice thing is that you can see where it goes to. It's completely transparent.
Right.
So, and the proceeds are split down. It's very, very simple. So just by coming and playing, you literally support a lot of different programs.
So, what kind of programs are supported?
All right.
Because
So
we want to talk. You had mentioned before we even came on the air
Yeah.
about the jazz band that's been developed here, and we got to cover that in the next 8 minutes that we have.
okay, so
yeah.
let's start with that. So live music is super important, and it's like I said earlier, it's important to give that experience to kids, but also musicians, they need to get paid. And we have a lot of establishments that they can't necessarily afford to pay a musician. So the nice thing is 25% of our bingo proceeds go to live music, which means that we can afford like not a lot, obviously, like not big name bands, but we can help like duos and trios. But most importantly, we have a jazz band that we're sponsoring, and there'll be some more information kind of filtering out over the next month or so, but they're all teachers. And the wonderful thing about this experience is that we can bring kids in, and they can sit there and they can look at their teachers having fun. Their teachers are playing. They're doing what they love. They became teachers for a reason. And that whole vibe when you walk in the room, oh, the kids just love it. But then they're being exposed to jazz, and they're seeing instruments that they've never seen.
Right.
They're in a room where there's 10 xylophones and 8 marimbas because it's the band room at the high school. So one of the things about jazz band, well, you know, they need music. So all that stuff is expensive. People don't realize that you have to pay for music. So 25% of the proceeds for bingo goes to supporting the jazz band and also live music in the area. It has to be educational. So for example, we've done like tea with jam and bread. We did that with Rachel Davis, and I'm hoping that we're going to be able to do that again too. But this is going to help with that so that we can actually do fun things, expose the kids to music, and everybody wins. So 25% of the proceeds goes to live music for the community. And it can be downtown, it can be anywhere. So, you know, people can reach out to me and say, hey, if we can make it educational, let's talk.
Right.
25% will go to entrepreneur programs. Bread is all about teaching kids how to make money and manage money. So we are going to take that 25% and we're going to help the kids, like with 4-H, for example, they have an entrepreneur program. So the kids can make something, come to us. With those proceeds, we can help pay for packaging. We can help pay for ingredients. We have baking classes right now. You know how expensive eggs are and butter? So 25% of the bingo proceeds goes right to that, anything entrepreneurial. 50% scholarships, plain and simple. My music is bringing these amazing teachers down here. We have some amazing teachers here in our community, but you know, they need to get paid, and they need to get paid a decent wage. I mean, I can't even tell you how much schooling it takes to be a string teacher. So by bringing these great teachers in, we can offset that so that it is still accessible to everybody. So that's what 50% right down the line goes to. So it's plain and simple. Every week I'll do an update and say, hey, this is what's happening. Like I said, June 21st is the first one. That's at the greenhouse. That's with Nick Vane. He's going to be one of the teachers coming down. So again, when you see these little pop-up events, they're bingo funded. Completely bingo funded. And the nice thing too is that with some of the door funds, we're going to buy gift certificates for the kids. I keep forgetting to talk about this because volunteering is so important. And we can get kids to help out and volunteer, but let's reward them. So we're going to take the proceeds from the door after we help the ladies of the moose out. The proceeds from the door are going to go downtown to buy gift certificates. So we can actually, instead of asking them to donate, because everyone's taxed out, everyone, they help so much. So let's take some of those funds and start buying gift certificates. That way we can reward the kids when they volunteer.
And that is music to the ears of the downtown merchants because you're helping out the people downtown.
Right. And Volunteer exists, or Volunteer Cadillac exists. It's under Jam and Bread. That's what we do. So we are actually going to be partnering with 4-H to do the Kindness Club. So it'll be the Kindness Club, part of 4-H, part of Jam and Bread, where we have all these little tasks that the kids are going to help volunteer with, and then they can then come in and exchange them for stuff. We have the Sound Garden needs cleanup. We have a couple of festivals coming up. We have the fair. So maybe if we get the kids to kind of help out, then maybe we can, buy them fair bands so that they don't have to do that. Like, hey, you came and helped out for 4 hours. Here you go.
Mm-hmm.
Because
so important. What age range are the kids that you're talking about?
I love 8 to 10-year-olds because they are little sponges. They haven't been exposed to anything like on social media. They don't have phones most of the time because they have a lot of energy, but they're so willing to be a part of something. And I find that the younger we expose them to this stuff, they will continue doing it as they get older. Mm-hmm. And everybody's got their mindset like, oh, I want this age. Well, chances are they're not going to be interested in helping you. Like, that's just flat out. They're more interested in doing their thing. But what happens if we do something for like an 8 to 10-year-old, and then when they're 13, they go, hey, I remember that lady. That was fun. We should go do that.
Right.
Just to do it. So when you teach a kid to give back for no reason, they're going to do it their whole life.
Between now and when school gets back into session, give us some important dates that people should circle in a red pen on their calendars.
Every Thursday for one, and also 4-H. Follow along for 4-H and the Kindness Club coming up. So Thursday nights, we will be meeting around 4 o'clock around the pavilion. Kids can help set up. Wednesday mornings at 9 o'clock, the Sound Garden has a cleanup every single Wednesday. So we're going to try and get a group of kids together to help with that. There's also 2 or 3 areas around here. We have the Freedom Festival coming up.
Yes.
So there's a few things that kids can do. I mean, even if it's just picking up litter, if it's, walking around and just being like, hey, because as adults, if we look over and we see those kids doing stuff, maybe it'll change our minds a little bit too.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's the important thing. Mm-hmm. So for sure, definitely Thursdays, let's start with there. And then let's add some water to this and watch it grow.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Bingo dates, again, bi-weekly, twice a month, right?
Twice a month.
Okay,
and
starting.
They start this Monday.
Okay.
And we're still waiting. We've got 4 special bingos that we can do a year. And those are special events that are off-site. So because we have a license, so we're waiting on that. So we've got some other big announcements coming up too, because there should be some 4 pretty big bingos. One of them will be in October, and I can tell you we are going to do a Kiss bingo.
Oh, well, why not? 50th anniversary.
Yeah. So we are going to be celebrating the 50th anniversary. And, I highly encourage face makeup, and let's have some fun. That's what these events are supposed to be. Let's bring the community together. Let's have fun. And then let's sit back and watch what happens.
Rich, let's put you in a Kiss outfit.
Please.
I don't know that I want to wear a Kiss outfit, but I would go for the makeup.
Okay.
I would do that.
I want to be the cat.
Okay.
Okay. Who do you want to be?
I don't care. I want to be the guy who gets the girls.
Gene Simmons.
Do you realize, you all heard that, right? So come October. But yeah, let's have some fun with this.
Marla, we appreciate you so much. And I know the kids in our community are really blessed to have you and your energy.
Well, thank you so much for having me here. And this is a great community. There's a lot to love here. So
where do we go? Last thing. Where do we go online to learn more about Jam and Bread?
You can actually follow us on Facebook. It's just Jam and Bread, and it's spelled out A-N-D. Our website is jamandbreadmi.com, and you can also contact us through there. So if you have any questions, want to know about bingo, or you're like, hey, I know a great musician, or I know a place that could use a musician, reach out. That's what we're all about. So
I after a half hour spent with Marla, we are always energized and ready to climb a mountain.
Yes, I am. I'm all fired up.
well, the more we can get bingo going, the more it goes back. And then I'm more excited about seeing where this is going to go. So,
well, we're glad to get the word out. Marla Courtney, thank you very much for all you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much for all that you do. I mean, hey, you're not too bad yourself,
I appreciate that.
Just saying.
We appreciate that. Join us next week for some more great local chat on Cadillac Unscripted, sponsored by Independent Bank, right here on 107.9 CDY.